Welcome back to Hollywood latest reports in a moment that stunned both his congregation and the wider world. Legendary televangelist Jimmy Swaggart, a man who once captivated millions across the globe with his fiery sermons, gospel music, and tearful repentance, just said goodbye in a way no one expected. After decades in the spotlight, from the towering heights of religious influence to the darkest valleys of controversy and redemption, Swaggart's final message felt like the closing chapter in a story too dramatic for fiction. The cameras rolled, the choir hummed softly in the background, and Swaggart stood at his pulpit one last time. His voice, though aged, carried the same fire and trembling conviction that had made him a spiritual icon. With tears in his eyes and a Bible in his hand, he began what would become the farewell of a lifetime, one that has the internet ablaze and fans weeping worldwide. Family Worship Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was deafening. Even those who had followed him through thick and thin, from his meteoric rise in the 1980s to the scandalous fall and his long road to redemption, were caught off guard. "I never thought this day would come," Swaggart whispered, barely audible at first. He looked around at the congregation, many of whom had grown old alongside him, and simply said, "It's time." Those two words sent shockwaves across the globe, as followers realized this wasn't just another sermon. It was a goodbye. Now in his late 80s, has been a staple in American religious broadcasting since the early 1970s. His empire once rivaled that of Billy Graham and Oral Roberts. He was a preacher, a musician, and a television personality, and he did it all with a southern charm that made him beloved in households from California to Cairo. His fiery messages against sin, his pleading calls to salvation, and his emotional musical performances were the backdrop to millions of childhoods. But what truly cemented Jimmy Swaggart as a legend was not just his preaching but the scandal that nearly destroyed him, and the humility with which he begged the world for forgiveness. So when to the stage that day, standing before a generation that had both worshipped and questioned him, he wasn't just saying goodbye to a church, he was saying goodbye to an era. He was saying goodbye to the camera that had broadcast his sermons to over 104 countries. He was saying goodbye to the ministry that had been his life's purpose. But most of all, he was saying goodbye to the millions who had, despite everything, still chosen to believe in him. "The truth," he said, his voice breaking. "This world is changing faster than we ever imagined. Churches don't look like churches anymore. Preachers don't sound like preachers anymore. But God never changed. And I am here to tell you, after everything, He still loves you." The crowd erupted into sobs as he held up the Bible and kissed it. "I've made mistakes, oh Lord knows I have. But I never stopped preaching this book. I never stopped believing in the cross." Through social media within minutes, clips of the emotional farewell were posted with captions like, "The end of an era" and "Goodbye, Brother Swaggart." Even celebrities and fellow televangelists began posting tributes. Paula White called him a flawed but faithful servant, while T.D. Jakes tweeted, "Whatever you think of Jimmy Swaggart, there's no denying the souls he brought to Christ." This was a goodbye from a lion. The internet, so often divided by opinion, seemed united in one collective emotion: mourning. He had one more bombshell to drop, and it came right after he sang his final hymn, "I'll Never Be Lonely Again." With trembling fingers on the piano keys, Swaggart gave a performance that brought grown men to their knees. And then, looking directly into the camera, he dropped the line that's now going viral: "This is my last sermon. I will not return. My health, it's failing. But my faith, it's stronger than ever." On the crowd, Swaggart, who had kept his health struggles private, revealed he had been quietly battling a serious illness for over 2 years. "I didn't want pity. I didn't want headlines," he said. "I wanted to go out like I came in, behind the pulpit, preaching Jesus." Fans were left in disbelief. Many had noticed the weight loss, the slower speech, the extended absences, but no one expected this: a public acknowledgement of his mortality, his fading strength, and the end of an iconic era. Swaggart turned off the microphone himself. No music, no exit theme, no dramatic production, just a preacher walking away from the pulpit for the last time. People in the pews rushed the stage, sobbing, some kneeling, others shouting, "Thank you, Brother Jimmy!" Videos of the scene have gone viral, racking up millions of views within hours. One fan captioned it, "The final altar call." Have taken a softer tone. Many remember the 1988 prostitution scandal that led to his tearful confession, the infamous "I have sinned" speech that became late-night comedy fodder. But in the years since, Swaggart never stopped preaching. He never retreated, and he never stopped trying to rebuild. That perseverance, many now say, is what truly defines his legacy. Sources close to the Swaggart family have confirmed that his health condition is serious but stable. They have asked for prayers and privacy as the family navigates this transition. Donnie Swaggart, his son, is expected to take over preaching duties full-time. Donnie, in an emotional statement, said, "No one can fill my father's shoes, but I will carry his torch." Has also reignited interest in his musical catalogue. His gospel albums have spiked in streams overnight, and rumors suggest a tribute documentary is already in production, with Netflix and Amazon in a bidding war for exclusive rights. Fans are sharing their favorite memories, watching Jimmy with my grandma every Sunday, the time he prayed for my dying mother, and that one sermon that saved my marriage. Twist. Jimmy Swaggart has reportedly penned a memoir, set to release posthumously, titled Forgiven, The Man Behind the Tears. Sources who've read early drafts claim it's raw, unfiltered, and brutally honest. In it, Swaggart allegedly addresses everything: his rise, his fall, his battles with pride, and the demons that haunted him even while he preached deliverance to others. "I was a broken man preaching to broken people," he writes, according to leaked excerpts. "But grace met me every time." US are now planning special tribute services. Billboards with Swaggart's picture and the phrase "Well done, good and faithful servant" are going up in Baton Rouge. Gospel artists are recording a tribute album, and millions of believers, even those who no longer attend church, are lighting candles and sharing memories in honor of the preacher who never gave up. At this point, the world isn't just reacting to a man saying goodbye. It's reacting to the close of a spiritual saga, one of the most dramatic, painful, redemptive, and unforgettable stories in modern religious history. Jimmy Swaggart's life was messy, it was controversial, it was human, but above all, it was lived with. As the sun set on that monumental Sunday, one congregant, an elderly woman in her 90s, summed it up best. With tears streaming down her cheeks, she whispered to a reporter, "He baptized me, married my kids, and buried my husband." Jimmy Swaggart wasn't just a preacher, he was our pastor, and now,